Welcome, you guys, to another edition of Sunday Night Team Call. Clap it up for yourselves. Woo! Yes, I burned myself. Stop laughing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a few STS shares because a few of us had STS over the last weekend, and then we have an awesome guest speaker for this team call. So nobody knows I'm going to call on them, but I'm going to do some popcorning. So let's see here. Cardell Crisp, welcome to the team call. Go ahead and unmute and let us know one thing you learned this weekend at your first Sacramento STS. Let's go. You got to unmute.
This is how I do it. Hello? Can y'all hear me?
You can.
All right. So, basically, I learned to invest in myself. I like now I can't remember their names. I know Marquise, but the lady that spoke, I don't remember. What was it? Celeste. I like the way she broke it down and was basically, I felt like she was talking to me when she said not to put anything off till tomorrow. So that was one big thing that kind of everything caught my attention, but that was one thing that I grabbed and put it in my suitcase.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cardell, for that share. Celeste is awesome as not procrastinating, and that's one thing that we all take sometime. Cardell, go ahead and mute your phone again. We all make a long list. Thank you.
How do I do that?
There you go. This long list of things we want to get done coming out of STS. We have, calls that we want to be on, 90-day plans we want to stick to, new DMOs, daily method of operations we want to do, but we never put it into action. So I love that that you took that away because procrastination is a big dream killer. So, Mr. Chuck Duffy, I know you got some nuggets this weekend. Let's hear what Florida had in store for us.
Well, what I got from it was just recommitting myself. So what I did was I decided to do a client binder, which I'm working on now. But it's really going to help me stay focused and follow up better. And then just talking to Cheron a little bit in a brief moment, he brought up something about just eliminating habits. So that's what I've been, bad habits anyway. So that's what I'm working on now with that client binder as well. Something quick. All right, back to you.
Awesome. So now you not only have a whiteboard with all your clients on it, you have a nice little binder with all your clients and some new tabs for keeping track. So this next person is sitting right behind me. Everybody say hi to Miss Shayla.
What up? Mine is cute. But Celeste made a really, really great point about we are the momentum, and it didn't go anywhere. So a lot of people have been like freaking out because the past couple of months have been really slow, but in reality, you create your own momentum. So whatever you put out there, you're going to get back full-fledged. On top of that, we have New Year's resolutions coming up in January, and we've all been saying that there's a million health coaches out here, but nobody is guaranteed that all the people are going to come to you. So when you put in the work and put all these things right now, it's all going to come back to the boom. That's it.
Awesome. I'm going to get one more. Let's see who else was here. Amanda, where does your face go? There you are. Let's unmute and let's hear what you learned from Sacramento STS.
I knew you were going to call my name. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Mine was when they were talking about small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals result. And it really opened me up a lot more because consistency is like my main problem. Like I always get fired up and then stop, just no reason. So I'm definitely going to change that and like just stop getting comfortable because if you don't stay consistent, then there's no results in anything.
Awesome. Yeah. Love it. Great job, Amanda. I lied, you guys. We're going to have one more because we didn't hear from LA at all. So we got to take it down to SoCal. Sabette, I know you have some nuggets from this weekend.
Okay, real quick. So it was 15K executive press team, Tim Hendricks. And something that he said that really stuck with me was once you make a declaration, you can guarantee opposition is right around the corner, right? So a lot of the times we make a declaration, we're like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But there's always something that that can distract us. There's always something that can hold us back. It's really the universe asking us how bad we want it. So something that I got from that was just, you know, make your declaration and really commit to it. Like if you guys want to be active world team, good team, middle team, whatever you want to be, supervisor, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is you want to be, like make the declaration, just go for it. Like whatever comes your way, just make sure you're just fighting them off with your swords or whatever you need to do and just get to it. So that was my tip. I want to hear from Cheron now.
I love it. I love how everyone was straight, concise, and to the point. We never get short STS shares like that. And I'm actually really, really excited to bring this next speaker up. Some of you guys have had the opportunity to get to know him a little bit on some of our team promotions, but some of us haven't. And this guy is a powerful force, you guys. Talk about personal development. Like we heard about most of the personal development books we're reading, not from Jerry Graham, you guys, from Cheron Mendoza. So Cheron, unmute. We're ready for you to give us your 100, and we know we're going to get a lot of great nuggets from you. Let's go. Clap it up for Cheron. Our little silent clap.
All right. So first, I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to be on this call and to have an opportunity to talk to you guys tonight. I know a few people on here. Some of you I haven't met. Some of you I've heard about. I see Chuck on there. Sabette, AJ, I see you on there. I see Mama Livingston on there. I haven't met you, but I know about you as well. Shayla. But everybody else, I'm Cheron Mendoza. So I just want to tell you, first of all, is just really just to state my intention for this call. I'm not really like a rah-rah guy and try and get you hyped up, because I think sometimes when people do that, they forget to leave you with actual content that you can take away. So that's my main focus right now is to really give you guys a background on me, and maybe you can find some encouragement in what I've been through, and then give you a few concrete ideas to walk away with that can help you not just with the business, but in life. I think a lot of times we focus on building the business so much, we forget to build our own life. And if we actually do the things that it takes to live a better life, our business will grow in congruence with it. So the first thing I'll do is I'll tell you my story. I've been a coach on the team. It'll be 2 years in March. I'm active world team right now. When I first started the business, I really loved the products. I moved up the marketing plan just so that I could have money to order more products. That was really my motivation in the beginning. I started feeling myself after I hit qualified producer in the first couple of weeks and quit my job. So I don't know where any of you guys are in the marketing plan. If you're a QP, don't quit your job. Don't do it. And so, you know, I hit qualified producer. I hit supervisor. I went straight into, you know, active suit, world team, all that stuff. And then I got stuck for a long time, about a year. So that was really until the last 6 months or so, my business started to take that next jump. You know, I don't know where you guys are at the marketing plan, but once you hit that world team, it's a little bit of a different game. And if you've been in this business for maybe a year or longer, you know, the honeymoon ends at some point, and that's when you're going to find out who are the people that are really going to take this all the way. So that was I think, you know, one of the toughest things in the business too is really looking at what other people do. I came in around the same time as Patrick and Jen and Sabette and people like that. And sometimes, you know, I'm very happy for their success. I think they're amazing. But when you're looking at other people killing it and you're not really doing your own, it can kind of get you down sometimes. So just don't focus on what anybody else is doing. Just stay on your grind. Because I've had a lot of setbacks in this business. I've had 4 people that hit supervisor in a month in my business that don't even do the business anymore. So you're going to go through your shares of ups and downs. And I could never, I was always good at doing volume, but growing that org is kind of different. And I stuck with it. I had never done over 2,500 volume points for my organization until about June or July after extravaganza. Then my org doubled. It went from 2K one month to 4K the next month to 8K the next month to 16K the next month. I think we finished at like 18 something last month, and I actually was able to acquire my 3-stone pin, which means I have 3 frontline active supervisors, which is a really big deal for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of explain to you like what I did to do that. Now, everybody says, you know, from world team to active world team, it's the biggest jump in the business. And it is, but it's not as big as a lot of people think. What I really did to get there is I got about a committed person every quarter. Once every 3 or 4 months, I got a serious person. And what I want to explain to you guys is not about like getting the people, because you can all do that in the next year. It's completely possible. But what I want you to understand is what a serious and committed person actually is. Because I think sometimes we think if people are doing volume, that means that they're committed. I tell you right now, all my active supervisors, all my world team members, they were not the biggest producers in my business. A serious person, number one, they love the products. That's what I need from people from the get-go. I want a person that when they log into my Herbalife and I tell them to order their nutrition plan, they're asking me what everything else is. Because I know when I started the business, that's what I cared about. I cared about being able to use more products and get more results. That's number one. Number two is really I look for people that are resilient. Now, what I mean by resilient is they're going to be able to take the ups and downs. Somebody that I don't have to turn around every week and a half and wonder if this person's going to flake on me because they had a bad month or because somebody said something negative to them or because they lost a coach. I want resilient people that are going to be able to roll with the punches that come in this business and that come in life. Okay? And I want people that are aware. What is awareness? Awareness for me in this business is people that see a space or see a need on the team and fulfill it. For example, when we first started our business, we started doing our team calls, and we're doing them every Wednesday night. We still doing them. Been doing them for 2 years. Now, watching my upline put these calls on every night, I immediately saw a need where I was like, man, she's doing this every single night. Somebody should have to step up and help her because that's a lot of work for one person to be doing. There's 2 types of leaders, I think. I think there are people that you ask to lead, which that's totally okay. But the leaders that I really like are the leaders who feel a need to lead from the beginning. The ones that have the awareness and look around and say, hey, what can I do? How can I help? They're not waiting to be picked out of the crowd. Like, you know, that's the type of leader that I look for in people. And I look for people that are resourceful. And what I mean by resourceful is they're not helpless. There's a lot of people out here, you know, I don't want a type of coach where I have to call and be like, yo, did you hear about that new cinnamon tea or that new flavor shake? Like, did you order that yet? That's not the type of person that you're looking for. You're not looking for the type of person that you still have to, we send out call numbers, we send out STS lists and stuff like that. But I'm looking for the type of person that finds that information on their own. Because at the end of the day, Pat, Jen, they maybe get 2,500. They're higher up in the marketing plan, but they don't actually have access to any more information than you do. We may be in a leadership meeting, you know, once every month or 2 or 90 days or something like that. But everything that's going on with Herbalife, we all have the same amount of access to the same information for the most part. So I'm looking for those people that aren't sitting back and saying, I don't have any clue about what's going on. I can't figure anything out for my own. I need to be walked through every single thing. It's okay. You know, we're going to walk you through it in the beginning, but at the end of the day, like, you got to take some sort of initiative on your own part. Like, what if Patrick and Jim were like, yo, I can't make it to STS next weekend, or I can't go to Fit Club? Who are the people that are still going to show up? That's a serious person. The people that are going to show up for themselves and not just from everybody else. And I don't mean that from like a selfish standpoint. I just mean that they understand, like, them going to these things is actually building their business. It's not about it. It's not about other people's business. So that's what a resourceful person is. One thing I did too is I shifted my goals. A lot of people are like, yeah, they just got these pins on the wall, like Get Team, Mill Team, Press Team. But when I look at all those people's pins, I noticed that other pin on there, which are those stone pins. I noticed that people who are Get Team and Mill Team have 5 stones, 7 stones. That means you've got, each stone represents your frontline active supervisors. So I shifted my focus. I said, you know what? I want a 3-stone pen because I know that I see a few Get Team people walking around with that. And I was like, if I could get a 5, I know I'm headed for like Get Team or Mill Team because I see other people like that. And now like I'm looking at 7s, 10s. Like I shifted my goal instead of just looking at a pen, and I shifted my focus to having committed people, because that's what those stones represent. Committed people that you have strong relationships with. And that's how I was able to get a person every quarter, is because I wasn't just looking for 20,000 volume points. I was looking for that one person that was thinking like I was, that loved the products, was resilient, was aware, was resourceful, that I have a great relationship with. I want somebody that's like my family. Okay, so that's just a little bit of where I am right now and how I got here. The next thing I really want to talk to you guys about, I'm going to give you a few things that I think are important to understand in life and in business. One concept, balance. There's a lot of think it's work hard, play hard. That's not balance. If you ever watch somebody doing gymnastics, any sort of balancing act, you'll notice that balance is a place of intense pressure. Everything's not all good. You don't get to just play, have as much fun as you get to have work. It doesn't work like that. You know, there's seasons, okay? So there's spring, there's summer, there's fall, there's winter. That's when you plant your seed and you cultivate your crop. And in the fall, that's when you collect the harvest. And then the winter is when you get your rest. Now, if you just plant the seed, harvest. If you plant right then and don't harvest, you're not going to have anything. So that's what real balance is. Balance is really like 3 to 1. It's work, 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 play. And I wouldn't even call it play. I would call it rest and think about how you can make the next season. So you guys to understand that. And you know, we get pulled in a lot of directions with life, and you know, we have a lot of things that we go to, STSs, team calls, things like that. But what you have to remember is these things aren't hurting you. They're beneficial to you and to your life and to your mindset, and keep you feeling fresh and renewed. So let's not act like we have this big, huge burden or of things we want to do. We're not out like with our breaking our backs like some of our forefathers did. Like, this is pretty simple stuff, and it's helping us. So you know, sometimes you're gonna have to work hard. You're gonna have to work hard. You're gonna have to go past 8-hour days. A person I was reading about the other day was Thomas Edison. He's one of the greatest. Some people call him the greater than Leonardo. Seen based on the currency back then. He's started the only Dow Jones company that's still going is GE, and he said a quote. This because when he was working, I'm wondering what would have happened to me if some fluent talker had converted me to the theory of an 8-hour day and convinced me that it was not fair to my work. If my life had been made up of 8-hour days, I do not believe I could have accomplished a great deal. So like what we're doing in the world where everybody's saying you work 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, you're going to have to push it a little bit harder than that. And, you know, we're not really laboring here. So that's what I have to say, you know, really about balance. What I want to talk to you about now is like dealing with negativity or getting down and things like that. First thing I'm going to tell you, if you're still dealing with people trying to talk you out of business or telling you that you're not going to make it and things like that, I'm going to tell you something, and it might hit you in the chest. You're not committed enough yet. Because when you commit it, people ain't going to bring that to you. Like, nobody's going to walk up to Kobe Bryant and be like, bro, you should play football. Why? Because they see the dedication that he puts in every single day. When I started the business, you know, for the first 6 months, even my family was like, oh, you ain't going to do that. You know, people try to talk me out of it. That's not a good idea. I'll wait to see what happens with you. Don't nobody come to me with that no more. Why? Because I showed up every single day. They know if I'm trying to talk this dude out of Herbalife, that's just a waste of my breath. I'm not even going to bother with it. So if you got people bringing you down still, that means you need to lift yourself up more and make it known who you are and what you're really about. That's that's why they're coming at you, because they don't believe in it yet. So you got to make sure that they see it. And, you know, stop trying to predict everything. You can't predict everything that's going to happen to you. I couldn't have predicted all the good things that have happened to me in this business. I couldn't predict somebody that did in the first month quitting on me. And that happened 4 times. You can't predict something like that. When I was predicting it, thinking, oh man, yeah, this is my new press team member, da 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 da. When in fact, all the people that weren't doing as much volume but were showing up to my frontline active supervisors with their teams and their own events and speaking on calls and things like that. I couldn't have predicted that. And you can't, to speak on a call in front of an awesome team, like I can't predict the good things that are going to happen to me. And so I'm not going to try and predict the bad things that happen. Yes.
Do you have somewhere where your connection?
Oh, okay, all right. So what I want you to understand is,
You're stopped.
What's up?
Do you have anywhere where your Wi-Fi is a little bit stronger?
I'm going to go, I'll plug right into it. Oh, really?
You're like, you're going in and we're like, like, what?
Yo, my bad. Hey, can you hear me good now?
A little bit better.
A little better?
Oh, that's way better. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what I want you to understand is like vision doesn't have a polarity. People think like vision is this like, oh, I see positive things happening in my life. No, if you focus on negative things happening to you and what could go wrong to you, that's vision too. So you got to understand like you can only have the good intentions, because if you worried about what's going wrong or what could happen, then that's having vision towards bad things happening, and you're probably going to follow that plan at some point in time. And don't talk yourself out of things. I know it's hard right now. Like that year where I wasn't doing anything, that was one of the toughest times for me. This last month, I actually had my worst month of business that I've had, but I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to start telling myself things like, oh, you can't get any clients anymore, or you don't know how to build coaches or anything like that, because that's not true. You guys read the 4 agreements, right? What they don't mention all the time, they say, don't take anything personally, right? Because you make an agreement when somebody says something negative about you and you accept it. But what you need, sometimes it's not worrying about what other people are saying. You make agreements with yourself about things that you can't do. So you need to check your own voice, not just everybody else. We're always looking outside thinking the negative opinions are coming from out there when you're really placing the limiting beliefs on yourself sometimes. So you really want to make sure that you're not making those negative agreements. And another thing I want to talk to you about is working with your strengths, okay? Working in areas that you're good at. Now, we see a lot of successful people in this business, and we're taught about duplication, you know, success leaves footprints and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the people that are successful are operating in areas that they're strong at. So if you're looking at them and trying to do the same exact things and wondering why you're not getting the same exact result, it's because they're working at their strengths and you might be out of your lane a little bit. That's not necessarily a bad thing at all. And that's not me trying to compare you to them or anything. It's just you got to know what they do. Like, for instance, like I'm about living an integrated life. What I mean by integrated life is there's 4 things that matter in life: health, wealth, love, and fulfillment. Okay? So the problem with the world right now is everybody's getting their health from one place, their wealth from another place, their love from one place, and their fulfillment from another place. This is the beauty of Herbalife, is that we get to get our health, we get to get our wealth, we get to get our love, because we get to build these awesome relationships, and we're helping people, so we get to be fulfilled. A lot of people, they're struggling because everything's separated. Like you want to be in areas where you're strong at. For instance, if you're a writer, right? Instead of you working at a desk job for a little bit more money, it might be better for you to work at like a library and be surrounded by things that you love, because that's what's going to make you happy. And when you're happy, you're going to be more creative. And when you're more creative, you're going to be like, to find your strengths, what you got to do is you got to think about like, what makes me happy? What did I love before anybody had to tell me to love it? Like, what was I naturally drawn to? And if you do it, when I'm down, I look back at like, what did I love to do? I love like action. I loved art. When I was little, I loved like martial arts and things like that. And if I'm looking at my life and I'm not happy right now, the best thing I could do is probably look back and see like if I'm doing any of those things. And when I'm not doing those things, I'm not as happy. So, you know, you want to make sure that you're living this integrated life where you're getting the right things from the right places. And be you. Add your personal touch to every single thing that you do. No one else can do that. That's what's going to make you strong. Like if you're an artist, like maybe like draw a picture of your client or something cool. Like I don't know. I don't know what you're best at or what you're good at. Only you know that. Like me, I like working out and coming up with crazy exercises. So I do crazy workout videos. But like if you not that crazy in the gym, that might not be your best thing. You might look at me and be like, oh yeah, he did that and it's working for him. So I'm gonna try it, but you out of your zone. So, you know, really focus on that. And we do a lot of learning, okay? We read a lot of books and we listen to a lot of Jim Rohn and we listen to all these motivational videos and everything like that. Keep perspective on what you're doing. When you're learning, don't forget to develop your own ideas. And this is really important because those people that you're listening to, that's what they did. And that's how you're going to take your next step in your personal development is saying, hey, like, I understand how I'm supposed to think about things, but what do you really think? What do you really believe? Make sure that you're developing and being creative in your own brain and not just biting off of every single thing that's thrown at you. Because some of these statements they're very, very black and white. And there's nothing that's black and white in this world but the colors themselves. Okay, so you really want to make sure that you're taking time to figure out like what do I really think and what ideas do I have that I think can change the world or help people, or what do I think that I can offer from my personality, not from Eric Thomas's personality, from my personality. Okay, so that's one thing. And then another thing is learn how you learn best. Not everybody learns the same. Like I do everything. I take notes, I write, I listen, I read, and I speak. Those are really the 5 main areas of learning to me. Taking notes, writing your own words, listening, reading, and speaking. I take great notes, but I don't learn that much from notes. Personally, I don't learn that much from notes. The way I learn the most is writing and speaking. And I learn by speaking, because like putting my thoughts out there vocally, it kind of helps me get clarity on any things. And that's how I'm really, that's how I've moved up the business as well, is that I just call my teammates and I just talk to them about things that I'm thinking about. Because as I'm speaking, I start to get more clarity on everything. And then I come up with nuggets and I'm like, oh, I get it now. So figure out like, what's the best way for you to learn? Maybe you learn best from listening to audios. You might, but do them all so that you have them all. And so that when you get a new coach or you get a new teammate, you can have them do the same thing. That's why it's so important that we show up to every single thing and do all the different personal developments, because we don't know which one's going to hit us the hardest or soak in the most. Do you guys get this? Are you guys tracking north and south? Good. Okay, cool. Now, those are just a few things that I think are important to understand. You know, balance, how to deal with negative outsiders, how to deal with the negative insider, you know, working to your strengths. But what I really want to talk to you about is like, what do you need to do to make next year go exactly how you want it? Right now, times it's tough right now. But you know what? The people that stick it out, we're going to make it all the way to the top. So what you really got to get clear on next year, I know you hear it all the time, is goal setting. Goal setting, goal setting, goal setting. Everybody's like, set your goals. But does anybody ever actually sit you down and teach you how to set goals? Like, no, probably not. I looked at one of my notebooks from like a year and a half ago, from like the first extravaganza I went to, and like one of my goals on that's not like a goal to have nice things and everything like that. But I mean, that's not what you want to be focusing on. If anything, to me, I kind of envy the person that has the money to get nice things, but it's just like, you know what? I'm not even worried about it, because when you have material things, like, and that's all you're searching for, you can't ever be bigger than money until you put it in its place. You got to even need it because I'm bigger than it. We're going to work. So how do I set my goals? This is what I do on an everyday basis. All right. So the first thing I did was I separated my life. Like I said, there's the four areas. I kind of set my goals in areas. I separated them into financial goals. Okay. So that's more than just Herbalife. That's what I do in my regular life. Okay. And that's any ideas I want to come up with, or I'm thinking about writing many books. Why not? You can do anything you want to do. If you're good at it, you know, it's a strength of yours, do it. So I got financial goals, and they're kind of tied in with like life goals, you know, like getting things in orders, bills, you know, tickets, anything really, stuff like that. But then I've got my business goals, right? And then I've got my health goals. Okay. So I got my life and financial goals, my business goals, and my health goals. So what I did was for each area, I wrote down my goal for this month. I wrote it for the first 3 months of next year. I wrote it for the first half year of next year, and then all the way through to the end of next year. Okay, so I've got these 3 different areas, and I've got everything mapped out. What I want to do for the end of this year, for the first 3 months of next year, for the first 6 months, and then through all of the way through 2015. Now that you have that down, this is what I do, because you can't attack everything at one time. It's impossible. Don't even worry about it. What I do every single day is that I look at my goals for this month, and I separate those areas again: life and financial, health, and business. And I say, what can I do today, right now, to get me closer to my goals for the end of this month and for the first 3 months of next year? And I don't look at anything else. That's it. And I say, what can I do today? So like, say I had some parking tickets, right? I said, what can I do today to get my parking tickets in my life and financial in place? All I can do is call around and see how much they are. That was all I could do for that. Okay. And then I had a business goal. I was like, okay, I'm trying to get my 5-stone pen or be in cuts of it by next month. So what can I do? Okay. I can call 2 of my leadership that aren't doing the 2,500 yet and see if I could talk to them and build a relationship with them. Boom. Okay. What can I do for my physical goals? I want to weigh 215. Okay. So all I could do today is I can meal prep, go to the gym, and follow my nutrition plan. So that's how I live my day every single day. And you know, that might not work for you. I'm a very systematical person, and I'm trying to be more organized than I naturally am, which is not a strength of mine. So it's kind of hard, but that's how I look at my goals every single day. I say, what can I do today to get a little bit closer to this month's goal and those first 3 months? And then you just keep going every single day. And before you know it, you're checking things off a list months in advance. And that's the beauty of the lifestyle that we live too, is that like all my goals are incongruent. They all are related to each other in one way or another, because we're living that integrated life where we get to get the love, we get to get the happiness, we get to get the wealth, we get to get the health. So when you're writing your goals, they're all connected too. So like when I'm having financial goals, like oh, okay, I got to get tickets, and it's like, okay, the tickets cost X amount of money. What can I do tomorrow to make a certain amount of dollars? Oh, I could call 2 people, and that's tying right into my business goal. Was it get 5 new clients? What do you know? So it all works together. And, you know, we really got to do whatever we can to take advantage of that. And that's another thing too, is like when you're bringing in people into the community and you're bringing them onto team, coaches, new clients, I kind of look at them and be like, all right, what are they getting out of this? When someone's a client, the first thing they're getting is just health, right? And I'm thinking, all right, what can I do to get them some wealth in their life? Because I know if I could make them some money, that's going to give them fulfillment and love at the same time, because they're going to build a new relationship with somebody that they've never led anybody before. They're going to build a new relationship with somebody. They're going to make a little money, and they're going to feel good about it. And now they're getting everything. So when I notice the people in my downline that aren't doing that much, they only get in certain aspects of this. They're not getting the whole shebang. So that's really important, is that you can focus in and figure out how to fulfill people's needs, and not what you want, what they want. I know a friend of mine, he's a very great personal trainer, and this guy is in the top 1% of the gym he works for, and you wouldn't understand it because he doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't, he's not very sociable or anything like that. And I asked him, like, man, how do you kill it so much? He's like, oh, I just listen to people. And I'm like, okay, so like, do you paint a picture of like what they want and how you're going to get them to their goals and everything like that? He's like, no, I just ask them what they want and that's it. He doesn't even put his input in. He doesn't even quite knows he has time to work with them. And that's how you're going to get your point. Sometimes I think we try to hit like one hit, like knockouts on everything all the time. That's not the way the business works. Like, this is Herbalife. It's not Herb day, Herb week, Herb month, Herb year. So like, you trying to super knock everything out of the park all the time, that doesn't really work. To me, one of the greatest baseball players in history to me is Derek Jeter. He's not very bigger than everybody else. He doesn't have more power than anybody else. He's not particularly gifted at anything other than he just keeps getting base hits. He just keeps getting the base hits at the right time. Like, if you're talking to people, learn what social media is for too. When you're talking to people, it's not always to try and sell them on some products. Me personally, everybody's got different styles. I don't bring up Herbalife to people. I just talk to them. And you should, if you're doing what you're supposed to do with your social media, you shouldn't have to bring it up because they see it anyways. I talk to them to build the relationship so that they could just start following me and paying attention to me and trust me. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I'm not like really pressing about plans, but 95% of the time they're going to bring it up to me anyways because they see me talking about it all the time. So like, you can let some things do the talking for you. Like, let your social media stuff do the talking for you, and then you can focus in on the people and build a real strong connection with them, build a relationship with them. Because at the end of the day, when times get hard for them or for you, they're not going to look at the business. They're just going to look at the relationship that they have with you and be like, man, you know what? Like, I wouldn't even quit on you because you just been so good to me. Like, you've added to my life so much, you know, and really start to learn how, really start to value yourself. Like, and valuing yourself has a lot to do with your relationships. When you value yourself, you know that you bring something to the table and that you are adding to people. So when you know that, you're going to start to look at the people that you deal with a little bit differently. I don't talk to everybody. It's not because I think I'm better than them or because like they owe me something or anything like that. It's just because like, I know that I can add to your life. I know that I can change your life. And when you know you have that ability, you're gonna think about how you spend your time and the things that you do a lot more. I don't ever try to talk to a person without being in a good mood or having them walk away with something. Like, I make sure every single person I meet that I'm as happy as them or happier, and I make sure they walk away with something. Something they learned, like they're a better person from this conversation, in some way or another. They taught something, and I always try to learn something from them as well, even if it's what I don't want to do or how I don't want to think. But I'm always trying to make sure I'm teaching and always trying to make sure that I'm learning. And you know, being a teacher is very important in this business because we're teaching people not only so they can know it, but so that they can teach it. So it's very important that, you know, we're adding the right things into people on a regular day basis. And you know, that's a lot of what I got for you guys. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really do want to see if like anybody has any questions or anything like that, because I love to hear from you, get some feedback, and just
I got a question, Cheron.
Go ahead.
So my question is like, do you feel it's more important to how can I say this? Do you feel it's more important to be like sympathetic with some of your clients or coaches, or do you feel it's more important to just be that driving force and then attract more powerful people to you?
Okay. All right. That's a good question. Okay. How I feel about that is that me personally, I'm a rock. I'm kind of like a fire person. Like I'm military, you know, that's my background. My dad was a Navy SEAL. So I'm pretty strict and pretty disciplined with everything that I do. What you really understand is what kind of, you got to understand first what kind of person you are. Because if you're acting out of your character, that might not help you that much. It just might not, because what people feel is when you're genuine, right? So like, if my genuine character is like, yo, I'm just like a brick and like this, like I try to do things by the T, they're going to respect that more than me trying to come at them like and coddle them up and things like that. But everybody has different styles. And you know what? That actually brings up a really good point that I want to mention is that like when you have a team, like people have different roles. Like some people, like I'm not the energy person. I'm not the person that's rah-rah is going to get everybody hyped up. Like that's not my skill. That's not what I'm good at. I'm the person that doesn't mind making the tough decisions that might make people roll their eyes. That's my role in the things. So a lot of that is knowing what your role is and knowing what your natural tendency is. Because when I first came to business, Ari and like all my teammates, they always tell me to be nicer and everything like that. Like that was the first thing she told me, you got to be way, way nicer to people. And I was really, really nicer to people, but I've always connected with people more when I was a little bit harder on them personally. So it's really going to be like, what can you, what's best for you? Because I can't give 100% at 110% at like trying to baby somebody. I can give 110% of like coming from a deep place where I really want you to be better and trying to get you to like really take it serious and not play it all. So does that answer your question? All right, cool. Anybody else got a question?
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I do. So
Okay.
I'm sure I'm asking this question for a lot of people on this phone call right now, but what personal development books are you reading right now? We heard about the 10X rule from you before anyone else, but what are you reading now that's taking your mindset to the next level?
Okay. All right. So I'm not actually reading anything right now, to be honest with you. I'm in a course with a guy who reads a book a day. He's read like 10,000 books in his life. He's a member of Mendoza, which is a high IQ society. And that's the only thing that I'm focusing on right now. One thing, like I said earlier, which is like, don't forget to develop your own ideas. I'm gonna be honest with you, like just like the balance, like it's 3-to-1. Sometimes I stop. I know it sounds like, oh man, you're not supposed to not do personal development every day. You're supposed to do it every day, but sometimes I stop. I need to think and develop my own ideas. So I'm actually not in a phase where I'm in the books right now. I'm in a phase where I'm listening to this guy who reads a lot of books and he explains things audibly, and he's good at he learns through speaking as well. So I'm looking at him and saying, okay, we have some things in common. Let me just learn from him right now. But if I could give you a book suggestion, let's see, I got a stack of them right here. I think everybody knows about 10X rule already. That's a really good one. I got How to Win Friends and Influence People on here. I recently read The Art of War again. I've also got, what else I got on here? You know what I'm reading now? I'm reading a book about Sam Walton, the guy who started Walmart. Read biographies, autobiographies, because you can't get mentored by a billionaire unless you read their book. So like people like Warren Buffett and like Bill Gates and stuff, read their books. I try to fragment my personal development. I listen to things that are like motivational in the morning, and I try to, in the afternoon, I try to give me something that's solid that I can walk away with, like key facts. And at night, I like to read autobiographies because it fills you with courage right before you go to sleep, when you get to peek inside that person's mind and see what they went through. So that's a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people are doing that, because mentorship is very important all the time. And all the people that are very successful, they all had great mentors. Like if you look at say Alexander the Great, right? He didn't just come out of nowhere. He had like Socrates, who had Plato, who had Aristotle, who those teachings got passed down to Alexander the Great, who as a teenager and set out to conquer the world, and before the age of 30 conquered all the known world. So having mentors is very important, and some people you're not going to be able to sit down and have a conversation with them. So read what they wrote and pick into their mind. Cool. Any other questions? Please fire away.
I got a question. What up, bro?
Yes. What's good, Pat? How you doing?
Yeah, I heard you said that you hang out with a dude, or you're in a program with a dude, and he reads a book a day.
Yeah. So he has it online. So I haven't actually met him in his program. Look, personal development isn't just for like it's not just for Herbalife. Like there's all sorts of courses and seminars and things out there. I know like we do like CHIPS and like Next Level and things like that. We go to events, but there are other success seminars in the world, and like there are other programs just like that. Like these are all just ideas that people in the business came up with. And another point is that they came up with those ideas, which means you can come up with the ideas as well. But yeah, I'm in a course with him, and I pay for it. I pay for it like monthly, and there's levels to it that you can pay. But I listen to a video every single day from him that he releases. His name's Tai Lopez, if anybody wants to look him up. Tai Lopez. And he's very, very intelligent. I think he's like 30 years old. He started 12 multi-million-dollar businesses from the ground up already. And he's actually was mentored by somebody in Herbalife a long time ago, which is a really funny story. But yeah, that's what I do.
No.
And like I said, with I touched on like having ideas or whatever. Like everything that we see, they're ideas. Like, which means that you can come up with your own ideas for how to build your business as well. Like, don't ever forget that. And like Chuck was saying, you're not going to be able to do any idea. Like, I know we're always changing like how we do things and how we look at things, but until you just eliminate your bad habits, you're not going to be able to be successful at any idea. We'll all probably kill the game if we could just get the basic stuff down and have good habits towards that, honestly. So, make sure that it's really about eliminating the things that you don't do, because if you have all the information in the world and you don't act on it, it doesn't mean anything. And like the person that acts on things is not the person that like, all right, so I said, okay, go set your goals, right? The person that's going to make it is the person that gets off the call and goes and writes their goals right then. Not the perfect person that's like, I'm going to wait till tomorrow because it's late and I want to do it when I have a perfect day. That doesn't work out. That doesn't ever happen. And people that think that way, they don't get very far. The people that do it are the ones that are like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do it right now. Forget everything else that happened. Don't try to have perfect days, man. Don't be like, oh, I'll wake up tomorrow and do it. Everything's going to be better because it's going to be the first thing I do. That's not true. It's going to be better when you do it right now. Next question.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Do you ever have problems following your instinct?
All the time. All the time.
How do you counteract it?
Again, that's like, and that's, you know what? I'm in a soul searching phase because I'm trying to figure out who I was before I started listening to everybody else. And I'm not talking about like personal development. I'm just talking about in life. So when you can connect with your inner person and you're like who you are naturally, you're going to have it's going to be a lot easier for you to hear your own voice in things. Because like I said, we get stuck in these statements. Everything is black is white as like the world's trying to make us believe it is, with all these success quotes and everything that are out. Yeah, they're accurate, but it can go either way with anything. There's like nothing's really right and nothing's really wrong ever. So when you notice that like that something isn't all that it seems, that's when I'm like, okay, something's pulling at me. But I know I'm learning myself still in the process for all of us. So I don't have the most solid answer for you for that, besides try to figure out who you are and what you really care about and what you really like and what you're really passionate about. And then you come up with it's called I make a statement for my life, right? I said, my statement, I made a one sentence. I tried to simplify my purpose in life to one sentence. It's called writing a Eulerian destiny. And I said, my purpose is to spread awareness amongst any avenue possible. Okay. That's my purpose in life. And when I'm doing things or I'm looking at things, the first thing I do is I bring up that statement. Is this in alignment with it? Does this make sense off of and this is like after me spending hours of thinking about what I want and compacting it down to one thing. And then I look at everything else and say, does this line up with my statement and my purpose for my life? And if it doesn't, then it's not me talking to somebody else. That answer it?
That was perfect.
Next question.
We have time for one more question. Who's got it? You guys all look blown away right now. One more. Listen, Mom. Let's hear one question from you guys. You guys look so thrilled.
We got with Chuck. You ain't got no questions to back? So these.
Let's see. Wow. I was trying to think of a question, but I'm really just like in awe right now. Like that was some good stuff.
How about this? Instead of questions, let's go over something you learned. We'll get 3 shares of what you guys learned. Chuck is one of them. Liz, and then we'll go with Sabette too.
Mine is more of a question. All right, Cheron, with your downline, how do you stop them from making excuses? Like what? Like, are you blunt with them, or how does that go?
You don't stop anybody from doing anything. You just encourage them in one direction or the other. What I would say with that is that, again, that comes back to the person that you're looking for. I know now who I need to talk to. The people I talk to, they don't make excuses. You see what I'm saying? I don't, like, Pat doesn't have to tell Sabette, like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Like, he doesn't have to do that because she's meeting all those requirements where she loves the product, she's resilient, she's aware, she's resourceful. You don't have to tell those people not to do things or not to make excuses because they're already committed. That's who they are. So what you need to understand is that, like, all you got to do is be like, what can I do to build a relationship with this person more and see what happens? You got time. Don't trip out. Like, if they post like a picture of them drinking or something, or they miss something, don't freak out. Because, like, I try to get people, and if they catch on, you'll know. If they're not, I pull back and I just say, okay, all right, they're not really getting everything I'm putting down, because I know I'm giving them content. I know I'm giving them the answers. I know I'm giving them the path that they need to be on. I know they're getting the information, and they're so I know, like, all I gotta do is watch in my eyes. I'm gonna know if they're gonna follow it or not. And so if I'm going over a course of a period of time and it's just not happening, what do? I pull back a conversation or two a week. I stop being so available because I'm adding value to you for what right now. So yeah, I don't stop them. I just be who I am. They see who I am. I communicate myself to them, and they'll know. They'll know if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. If they're not, they're not. You know, maybe they'll come out of nowhere. But if you try to stop them, right, they might not ever have that comeback where they just have a realization a few months down the road and be like, oh, okay, you know, I get it now. So I try to stay away from, like, really telling people what to do more than just teaching them things. That's what I try to do.
Awesome. Let's go with 2 shares of what you guys learned. So Sabette and Liz, you guys are already off mute. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Okay. I guess for me, my biggest takeaway was the goal setting. So, like, I knew goal setting came with, like, action steps, things like that, but I've never like broken down my goals into, like, separate areas of my life or done, like, the long-term, like, full year goal. So for me, that's like, I'm ready to get off this call and set my goals for next year, and do the, like, 3 months, the 6 months, because I have this month set, but I'm actually going to reassess the end of this month as well into those 3: financial, then business, then health, because I thought that was pretty powerful. I think it'll help me a lot with staying focused on what I want and what I need to do to get there.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Liz. Go ahead, Sabette.
Okay, Cheron, number 1, I love you. I appreciate you so much. I took 4 pages of notes just to let you know. But the main things that I got from this call today was, number 1, I am still getting back out of that mindset of not focusing on what everyone else is doing, especially when you can move so fast for a moment and then everything slows down and it's like, okay, I'm not moving how I want to move. So I've definitely made that shift. That's something that it definitely reminded me to just focus on you and focus on your efforts and focus on what you're doing to get to where you want to be, and then shifting your goals. So just like you, like, I think in the last week, like, I was like, okay, I need to focus on this stone thing. Like, I need to start getting my people where they need to be, because if I focus on this stone pin, then all the other things will come, or whatever. Like, you know, like, getting really more detailed. I actually had a call earlier with a few of my people and really dissected their goals, like how you said, like, really getting more in detail of, like, okay, you say you want to do this, and this, but how are you going to do this to get there? So definitely took that away, and glad that we're on the same page with that. But that was very powerful. Also, that vision doesn't have polarity. So just really focusing on the fact that, you know, whatever you focus on is going to happen. So if you focus on the negatives, like, oh, I'm not doing well this month, or just like last month was honestly my lowest month as well. So it's like, okay, like what's going on? Like what was I doing before? Oh, it's just not going right. Like just getting out of that mindset and just really focusing on what I want again, because that's how I was getting to where I was before. So even though it's slow right now, it's not a problem. Everything is no problem. Just really getting back in that mindset of having positive thoughts, and this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to have by this time, and I'm going to work towards that, and these are the small efforts I'm going to do to get there. So thank you again. You are amazing, and I'm going to pass it back to Jen.
Awesome. I want everybody to take their phone off of mute right now and give it up for Cheron! It's a whole different conversation, you guys, when somebody already has that press team mentality. Let me just put it that way. You can speak to all these people in Herbalife, but until they have that president team mindset where it's like nothing is going to stop them, just like Cheron, you know for a fact, 100% hands down, he's going to be successful in life, even if it's not Herbalife, just because of the way he speaks. And I'm just so honored to have you on this phone call.
Let him come.
I'm so grateful to know you as a person, and to have, you know, we have your back just as much as you have ours. And I'm just really grateful right now. So awesome call, you guys. We don't have any announcements right here for us. Supervisors, stay tuned for the opportunity for the supervisor call. We will have details soon. But until next time, you guys, see you later. Thank you, Cheron.
Thank you, Cheron. Bye, guys.
I'm trying to
Not them. They don't have a budget, but if you have one.